Welcome. We're back. Another day in the market. Pretty good day for small caps and mid caps finally after a horrible day for them yesterday. While people are hopping into the stream, I'm just gonna look at Bitcoin as per usual. Bitcoin had a great run. We've been talking about it since it broke out of the wedge at 32K, all the way down over here with the bullish engulfing candle. Made a very quick, nice run up to 40, almost 41,000 pretty much. And now it's looking a little bit iffy. You do have classic bearish divergence on the 4-hour for Bitcoin on the MACD and the RSI. Already did reject this 41K area, which already was resistance in June of this year, in May of this year, and even in February of this year, it acted as resistance for a little bit. And now it's starting to pull back on the 1-hour chart for Bitcoin. It looks like it's currently at the demand line of a channel, so we'll see if this breaks or not. But that's really all you could kind of look at in terms of a pattern, because you zoom out, it's just kind of a straight line up on the daily. So yeah, that's really it for Bitcoin. Probably just going to talk about the other altcoin trades, and then after that we're going to talk about the overall stock market, everything going on there. Then we're going to talk about Clover and AMC and SOFI as per usual. And then once we cover those, we'll do take requests in probably about 25 minutes. So yeah, just for the altcoin trades, to get those out of the way, Dogecoin's up 10%. Nothing has changed since last night. Atom is currently still up around 14%, pulling back a little bit right now with Bitcoin. Same thing for Chainlink. It's pretty close to the first target, which is around $21. It's currently it actually got up to about $20 and then it's pulled back. This trade is currently up 25% since the entry, I think last week. And then finally NU, I think I alerted this like yesterday maybe, or the day before. This one's down a few percent, so we'll see how this goes. Nothing too crazy there, but one interesting thing for the crypto market is a lot of the time you have a Bitcoin, it has a nice big run, and typically it's like Bitcoin and then the other large cap cryptos that kind of really run initially, like Ethereum and Litecoin and Bitcoin Cash. And then what tends to happen, again, it doesn't happen all the time, is like typically once Bitcoin stops running and it starts to just kind of consolidate and go sideways, that's when you have the smaller cap altcoins just catch up to Bitcoin. One chart that pretty much shows this is the Bitcoin dominance chart, which pretty much just shows how dominant Bitcoin is against all the other cryptos. Looking at this Bitcoin dominance chart, it did break out of an ascending triangle. So who knows, maybe if Bitcoin does pull back here with the 4-hour bearish divergence, this can just back test the breakout. We'll see what happens there. But let's talk about the stock market right now. Pretty interesting day. Really good day for a lot of the swing trades that I put out, and hopefully you had a good day in the market. It was a flat day for the S&P 500, but pretty much all the other major indices were up. The Dow Jones was down a little bit, about 1/3%. But yeah, let's just look at the overall market. We had the Fed meeting today. That actually helped out the market a little bit, at least especially for small caps and growth stocks. They continued bouncing during that meeting and then up into the close. Give me 1 second. I had to sneeze and then I didn't. I don't know. But yeah, looking at the NASDAQ, it was up almost 1% today. It was up about 0.70%. Good day, pretty much an inside day. We had a very red day yesterday, bounced up in the afternoon, and then today we kind of followed through with that bounce. We almost actually got back to yesterday's open, but we pulled back a little bit before that for the NASDAQ. In terms of technology, Facebook reported earnings today. I think Facebook actually beat on earnings, but the stock price went down after hours. Let me take a look at the rest of earnings. So yeah, PayPal also reported today, Ford reported today, Boeing, Shopify, Spotify, McDonald's, TLRY, so a lot of different companies. And then tomorrow we have the big one, Amazon, reporting after the close, as well as Pinterest and Twilio. So it looks like we're finally getting through the bulk of like the large cap earnings, and now we're probably going to start getting into the mid cap and the small cap earnings within the next couple of weeks. We've already kind of started to do so. But from a technical standpoint on the market, we're still just kind of in autopilot. I wouldn't say it's bearish by any means, but at the same time, there's not any bullish patterns or divergence or anything like that. We're just kind of trending higher. We have the pullbacks here and there like we did yesterday, but for the most part, we're still around all-time highs on both the NASDAQ and the S&P 500. So the way I'm looking at it right now is there's not too much of a concern from a technical standpoint. The trend is very good. You're still around all-time highs. Now that I'm looking at the S&P 500, there's a potential for classic bearish divergence on the daily, and if you've been watching my streams, you know how that has led to a lot of different pullbacks this year alone. For an example, right over here, we had classic bearish divergence right up at this high over here. And then you could see right when it confirmed is when the S&P 500 actually corrected about 2% before running up higher again. So it's only developing for right now. It's not really confirmed just yet, but keep that in mind for the S&P 500. And yeah, it's just a flat day for the S&P, but we had a great day for both the small caps and mid caps. So first off, just going to take a look at the Russell 2000 small cap index. Very, very nice move today. MACD on the daily went back over to green. It's looking pretty good. It reclaimed this demand line and broke out of a descending broadening wedge. There's classic bullish divergence. Small caps, they're finally starting to look interesting again, but we've had a lot of different moves up and then we just pull back, so it's weird. But overall, if you do zoom out, we're still somehow making higher lows. If you ignore that fake out we had, I believe, like last week, maybe the week before. So we're still above this demand line. And yeah, nice to see small caps bounce today. The ARK ETF, which tracks a lot of mid-cap growth stocks, was also up very nicely today. And it actually reclaimed the 200-day moving average, which is very, very nice to see. On the 4-hour as well, it's broken out of a descending broadening wedge. MACD is green, so we already have bounced for small caps and mid caps. Hopefully we can continue this bounce because they have been lagging for the majority of this month compared to NASDAQ stocks and S&P stocks. So we're going to see how that goes into the rest of the week. Other than that, not too much. The volatility index was up a little bit today. Well, it actually closed down 5%, but TradingView is showing a green candle. I don't even know. Maybe it gapped down or something. Really weird. I don't even know why it's showing me two different numbers. But not too much of a change there. The dollar is starting to pull back a little bit alongside the Fed meeting. That's pretty interesting. And then finally, the 10-year notes. Kind of really doing nothing as well. So nothing too crazy from a technical standpoint changed today. We just got a nice bounce for small caps and mid caps, which if you've been watching the streams for, the past 2 weeks, I've been hoping for this, and finally we got a couple good days apart from yesterday. So we'll see if this can continue. Obviously it helped out a lot of the swing trades, and that's pretty much it for the overall market coverage. Now we're going to talk about Clover, AMC, and SOFI. Let me take a look at the chat for a second. Chatter Free says solid corporate fundamentals and an unchanged Fed policy. Yep, definitely helped out. We have GDP numbers tomorrow, and then the Robinhood IPO tomorrow. Going to be very interesting. There's a lot of hate against Robinhood from a retail standpoint. Going on social media, everybody wants to short the IPO and get puts, even though you can't get puts on the opening day. So we're going to see how that all turns out. My thoughts on it, I'm not a big fan of what Robinhood did back in the beginning of the year with everything that was going on in January. But at the same time, if I am being unbiased, they are, a huge company that's been growing at an immense pace, especially in the last year ever since the COVID crash. So, we'll see what happens. The interesting thing as well, to your point, Anthony, in the chat, who says majority of retail doesn't even know how to short. You can't even short on Robinhood, so Robinhood definitely, compared to a lot of other brokerages, has a lot of a more, retail demographic. That might have changed by now. That happened in January, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. With IPOs in general, I don't really touch them personally. It's just too much of a gamble for me. I like having more probability on my side. So I'll just be watching from the sidelines, but it's going to be entertaining. It is going to be big. It's one of the biggest IPOs of the year. So we'll see how that affects everything tomorrow. And yeah, let's talk about Clover, AMC, and SoFi now. Make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you didn't already. Appreciate all the support lately. And starting off with Clover, bounced up today. If you're a premium member, we did it again. I think we made it depends on where you took profits, but I shared a day trade, not even a day trade. I just shared an options idea for Clover with premium members today. I shared the idea when the price of Clover was at $8 at one point. Probably find it on the chart. It was pretty much around over here. So I shared that idea, and I think it was like right over here. Yeah. So I shared the idea like right over here, And then Clover ended up bouncing up like 5% from low to high, and the options went up 60%. They weren't even weekly options. They were actually, their expiration was for next week, I think. So yeah, another amazing options trade on Clover. You know, I've been talking about it for some time now, but the two most recent swing trade ideas I had for Clover did fail. I think I had one up here at around like 1170. That was like a 7 or 8% loss. And then I had another one down over here around 9, which is again another 7 or 8% loss. So, you know, we've had really good swing trades on Clover in the past, like we did over here down at $7 when I put out that alert back in March. And we've also day traded it on both of these huge green days. It was really fun. But, you know, like I've been saying for a while now, it's just from a swing trader standpoint, it's been really tough for Clover because all the bounces have been selling off. You know, I've been talking about this every night on stream. There's just a lot of bag holders, a lot of shorts, just a lot of things going on. So I'm just kind of waiting for it to start making higher highs and higher lows before I'm looking at it from a swing trader's perspective. But from an option trader's perspective, it's been great for me. The last 8 options ideas I've shared, or the last 8 call option ideas I've shared, because I only share call options for Clover, were all winners. And what I classified by winner is something that goes up 20% since the entry before going down 20%. So 8 for 8 on the last 8 options. We got like 60% today. It's one of my favorite tickers to trade options on. It's been really good to me for literally during this downtrend. I've been playing call options on it during the downtrend, and it's been 8 for 8 in the last 2 months or so. It's been amazing. So we'll see how it continues to do. You know, from a technical standpoint on Clover, you have hidden bullish divergence right now. It's almost confirmed on the daily. Like I've been talking about on stream, it does look like it could be double bottoming at the pattern completion zone of a bullish crab. And you might be asking, who cares about this random M-shaped pattern on the chart? It literally means nothing. Well, back in March, we had the same exact pattern, the bullish crab pattern. The pattern completion zone was $6.33. I put out an alert on this day, on March 5th. It's timestamped on my TradingView page. Put out an alert on this day, and that was literally your all-time low. So these patterns can be important. Doesn't mean the price is going to go up for sure, but they do act as bullish patterns with decent probabilities. We'll see what happens. Nice bounce today for Clover. Next resistance is $8.87. Moving on to AMC to cover that. I was talking about this last night on stream where I was looking at AMC for a potential day trade today. I did look at it, but I just didn't really see any volume. You know, volume's definitely a huge thing for day trades. I was watching this in the morning. It had a little bit of fake out, then it actually broke out to the upside, but there just wasn't any volume. You know, it was going up higher in price but decreasing on volume, so I didn't really see any day trade potential from AMC today. I'll be looking at it again tomorrow now that it has broken out of this triangle. So just sharing it to everybody right now. I think anything above 36 on AMC looks pretty decent, as that was your previous highs from 2015 and 2016, and now it's become your support for a little bit on lower time frames. So we'll see what AMC does tomorrow. You know, meme stocks had a decent day today. Most of them were up a few percent. BlackBerry was up almost 10%. I think it was up 10% at one point. We're going to get to BlackBerry in a little bit. But yeah, AMC 36 is your level. And then moving on to SOFI, which we've also been talking about every night on stream. 1 hour chart, it actually might be breaking out. It was up almost like 2% after hours as well. So I'm keeping an eye on SOFI for sure. We were talking about that 1475 level. It bounced off of it. It got a fall through day today. MACD went back to green, just like we talked about last night on stream. I keep saying this every single night, but it still has a pretty decent technical argument as long as it can hold 1475. And it'll be interesting to see how it reacts tomorrow with the Robinhood IPO. They're not exactly the same type of company, but they are pretty similar companies. And, you know, I was looking on social media and a lot of people were you know, thinking SoFi could have been up after hours because of the Robinhood IPO, but at the same time, that could be a bad thing if the Robinhood IPO doesn't go well tomorrow. So you never know. At the end of the day, you never know. But again, I'm just looking at this mainly from a charting standpoint. Anything above 1475 looks good to me on SoFi, and hopefully this could be a double bottom. Moving on from SoFi, let's talk about the ongoing trades. As soon as I finish these ongoing trades, we'll probably do ticker requests, but not just yet. Just wait up a few more minutes. But yeah, it was a good day for a lot of different swings. Most of them were up. The only one that was red was down like 0.25%, so pretty good day. Even Chinese stocks bounced today, which is really interesting to see. We talked about those Chinese education stocks. Remember how they've been going through a lot of fundamental scrutiny because China wants to literally turn them into nonprofits. but they did bounce pretty sharply today. We also day traded them. Yeah, but we'll see. You know, it looks like for the short term, there is a little bit of speculation money coming back into the market, which makes it a lot easier for swings, but you never know how long it lasts. And we have seen a pretty rough month so far for a lot of retail stocks and mid cap and small cap growth stocks. So we'll see what happens. But for the ongoing trades, Fisker was up almost 5% today. The trade idea itself is up 7% since the entry. It's getting close to confirming hidden bullish divergence. But earnings are on August 5th, which is next week, I believe. So we'll see how that goes. But regardless, I just want to see it continue to close above the 200-day moving average. As long as it does that, I'm bullish on Fisker from a technical standpoint. I obviously love it from a fundamental standpoint. But yeah, just talking about the technicals, if it can just break over this 1685 level, I don't see much more resistance up until like $19. So that's really it for Fisker. Moving on, Skills is another one, still around the entry of the trade. Nothing really changed today, was up a few percent. Nice 3-4 hour candles in a row, pretty close to a 3 white soldiers pattern. This middle one was kind of a little bit long wicked on the upside, so it can't be a textbook one. But yeah, I think anything above 1423 on Skills still looks pretty interesting to me. I don't know why it's not loading that on the daily. There we go. It used to be a resistance. Not too much of a change there. BlackBerry had a big day today. This trade was down quite a bit, but now it's back in profit. Now it's up 2% since the entry. BlackBerry bounced up 9% today. The hidden bullish divergence is looking good. Finally, it got a big move off the bottom of this channel. On the 4 hour, it actually went down to that 958 level we've been talking about, bounced off of it. And as long as BlackBerry can really clear this $11 resistance, I mean, there's room back up to $12.60 pretty easily. I don't know if it's going to happen for sure, but definitely a really good start today for BlackBerry. You don't even have earnings for a while, so you don't have to worry about that. So BlackBerry is still looking pretty good from a technical standpoint. Anything above $9.60, I'm a big fan of on BlackBerry. That's a major level historically. We'll see what it does. And then finally, Wish. This trade's also back in profit. It was in the red for a few days. Now it's back up 2%. Hidden bullish divergence is, continuing to develop. Now it's back above $9.70. Looking pretty good. This was a much needed bounce, especially from a technical standpoint today. It definitely helped out a lot of the trades that were looking kind of weird yesterday with the pullback. And now this is really starting to look like a double bottom on the 4 hours. So we'll see how that does. And then finally, I put out a new trade idea today, which is QS. They reported earnings yesterday after the close. I think they did miss on earnings, but the price was up 13% today. They had a little bit of news come out about their developments, I believe, with their batteries. But the chart looks really interesting to me. You had a crazy good candle today. Within 1 day, you engulfed pretty much almost 3 different daily candles in 1 day, which looks pretty good to me. And then also kind of like a double bottom at the pattern completion zone of a bullish butterfly harmonic pattern. The MACD on the daily went back to green. There's 4 hour classic bullish divergence. So this is a new idea. There is some resistance literally right over here at 25, but hopefully, the bulls can step up and break it above that level. So we'll see how this does. It's been crushed. It has a lot of room to run if buyers step in. You actually had your highest volume today since, let's see, today's volume was the highest volume since like June 10th. So highest volume in like a month and a half. So yeah, it's a new idea, QS. Do your own research, not financial advice. And that's pretty much the recap from today. So make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We'll see how everything goes tomorrow. If you're not in the Discord, the link's in the description. Make sure to join the Discord. And what else did I miss in the chat? Anthony says, almost canceled my ocean reservation today. Why? What else we got in the chat? What is my body fat percentage? I have no clue. I would assume probably around like, I don't know, like 13 maybe. Is that high or low? I don't even know what's a high and low body fat percentage. I think like maybe 13, 14. I don't know. I literally don't even know what a good or bad number for that would be. So I'm just kind of roughballing it. But what else we got? Sunny says, Champ, are you able to explain what caused you to drop a trade on CLOV today, like technically? Yeah, we did talk about Clover, but yeah, just from like a technical standpoint, you know, I was watching Clover right over here in the morning. There was 1 hour classic bullish divergence, and there was kind of like a falling wedge. So when I was watching Clover today, it was pretty much right around over here. It was at $8 when I shared the idea with the premium group. So yeah, you had 1 hour classic bullish divergence, and then on the 5 minute, there was also this. It was breaking out, or it was close to breaking out of a supply line with hidden bullish divergence on the 5 minute chart, on the MACD and the RSI. So it was literally on this candle. This red candle is when I shared the idea for Clover options today. So yeah, it was a 1 hour and a 5 minute setup together. And it was also really trending with the IWM, which had the same exact setup. I shared this in the Discord trading chat, where the IWM today also was breaking a supply line. It had a bullish engulfing candle, hidden bullish divergence on the 5 minute, even filled a gap. So I noticed that as well. And that was pretty much my idea for Clover. And then I also, you know, remembered that the 4 hours was looking like a double bottom kind of. So yeah, that was my idea behind it. Pretty simple. I don't really overcomplicate my short-term trade ideas. I just look for the basics, divergence, patterns, trend lines. VWAP is also another major indicator for me for short-term options trades. So I was watching all that. And yeah, it was a fun 60%. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Looks like we got another slower stream tonight. It's all good. What else we got in the chat? But really appreciate everybody showing up to streams, no matter how the market is. You know, my viewers will fluctuate with everything going on, but always got a solid 20-25 people showing up every day. Appreciate it. Is Bitcoin breaking out of the channel on the 1 hour? We'll take a look really quickly. The way I have it charted, it's still testing it for right now. So yeah, I mean, it could have actually been breaking out when you sent that message, because it just came down to this 39.2K level. So it just depends on where the candles close and stuff like that. We'll see. But yeah, I guess we could just do ticker requests for the rest of the stream. Pretty much finished up the daily recap. So if you want me to take a look at ticker, drop in the chat. Don't request anything that was up over 30% today, or anything that IPO'd within the last month. I need data and consistency to chart how I like to chart. And yeah, let's just get to it. All right, so we'll start off with these. First up, MMAT. This was a failed swing trade not too long ago. We looked at this last night. It was a nice bounce today, but still the same thing for me. It's at a very interesting area. You know, if you just kind of zoom out, this has been a pretty historical level multiple times in the past 4 or 5 years. Back at this area, it's trying to use it as support for right now, but it is a little bit under the 200-day moving average. I would like to see it get back above the 200-day moving average. On the daily, your hidden bullish divergence is still developing. On the 4 hour, you still have it. Hasn't really done too much, but it's trying. So if it can break back with the 200-day moving average, I think that would be great. There's a lot of room to the upside. There's not too much resistance above this range, but it's just getting out of this range might be a little bit hard, right? You can see really since 2016, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times, this has been resistance, and now it's trying to become support. It did act as support back in May as well as March, and that, you know, led to major runs. So let's see if we can do it again. And that daily MACD, you know, for right now is looking really interesting. GENI is next. Broke out of a falling wedge. Classic bullish divergence on the daily. It looks pretty good. There's not a lot of data I see at these levels, but yeah, I think anything above this trend line looks pretty good. The divergence is there. If we go over to the 4 hour, you also have classic bullish divergence playing out. The 4 hour 200-day moving average just appeared on the chart because it's a new ticker and it broke above that. I like it here. It even broke out of this little resistance at 16.28 for the past like 5 trading days. So yeah, next resistance is $19.51. We'll see if it gets there. OCGN bounced up a couple percent today. Still the same. You've been looking at this every night. It's still above this supply line. It might just be back testing it. I like this above 627. All it has to do is hold above that. If you can, your next resistance is $9. It's just a question of if it can continue to hold above that. If it does, $9 could be next, but you just got to hold those areas. MVST is next. Not a lot of data on this chart. Not too much to do here. It had an inside day today after a really ugly day yesterday. It was down 20% yesterday. There's not much I could do here. I'd like to see it get back above 10 because under that level you don't have any more support. That's pretty much your all-time lows right now. Or yesterday you had all-time lows. There is a gap to fill at $9.40 or $9.51, but there's not much of a pattern or any divergence. And I think it already passed the pattern completion zone of a bullish shark, which would be the 113. Yeah, it's well past that, so not too sure. POW, hidden bullish divergence developing on the daily right now, on the MACD. If we take this and this out, look at it like that. I guess, I don't know if I'd see like a pattern here, but you definitely have a demand line over here. So you just want to hold above this demand line. Who knows? Maybe it wants to try and double bottom off of this area at around like 680-ish. Apart from that, it might have also broken a supply line. I think anything above that demand line looks fine. But that's pretty much it. It's not really that, complicated, very straightforward. So I'll move on to XL. On XL, still, there's a potential for this to drop down to $6 and hit the pattern completion zone of a bullish bat, but there's no way to know for sure if it will get there. This company has been crushed. I don't really see much on the daily at this current level. It's just kind of in this little range right over here. This is just kind of the range just within. If it breaks above it, then you got resistance at 760-ish. If it breaks below it, you got support at around 6. But it's really a 50-50 to me in the short term at this level. So that's really it. DM is next. I'd like to see us get back above 10 as well. That was the support for pretty much since last August, and it broke that level. So I want to see it get back above 10. Otherwise, you don't really have much support under this, other than your previous all-time low from July 23rd. And yeah, I mean, I guess it could be on the cusp of breaking. I don't even know how exactly you want to look at this. Maybe like that. Maybe like a little bit of a falling wedge. It is getting pretty tight down here. Volume is dried up. So that could lead to a bounce shortly if this breaks out of the supply line. And if it does, I would just like to see it get back above $10. Next, we got PTRA. It was in a range between 1365 and 20. It broke that range on July 13th. I mean, you got support around, I guess, like 971. I don't really see much apart from that. This could turn into a bullish crab. And your closest pattern completion zone would actually be right at that level. Your 3618 from the B point to the D point would be at 971, your previous all-time low. So I don't know if it gets down to that level, but you would have a bullish crab PCC there. And then if it didn't bounce there, your 1618 from X to D would be down at about right around $9, a little bit under 9. So that's PTRA. Now we got TLRY, LEV, BLU, VBSCF, Vibe Growth Corporation. I like the name. And then NEO. I assume you mean the crypto. Unless you mean Neo Genomics. I'm gonna put in the crypto. If it's not the crypto, let me know in the chat. TLRY first. Let me delete that. Let me just delete everything here. Start from fresh. Looks like TLRY might have had earnings. Big bounce today, was up 26% today, pretty much went all the way up, it gapped up, hit the 200-day moving average, and then pulled back a little bit. I like it above 15. That was your low in January of 2020. It was support in April of this year, and it was resistance on July 21st. And I guess it also broke out of this probably falling wedge. So just broke out of that. I like it above 15. The daily MACD just went to green. You just had your highest volume today since February, the middle of February, all the way at the right up here at the highs pretty much from when it ended up pulling back after the squeeze. If it can break the 200-day moving average, your next resistance would probably be around $19. It was your low over here, resistance over here, and resistance over here. This could have also been a harmonic pattern. Got a little bit deep on that B point. Not super textbook. But yeah, so I'm looking at Tesla. Just got hold above 15. LEV is next. It got down to like this. It's been at the top of this little support range. It's trying to hold it. Now it's creating like another range. Like if I just lower this a little bit, it's creating like another range, like right over here. Come on. Like right over here, it's creating another range. So we'll see if it can break this to the upside. If it does, then your next resistance would probably just be 20 bucks. I mean, there's not a lot of resistance and support between 15 and 20. It's just kind of like straight up, straight down, straight up, straight down. So if you can just hold above this support range, there's easily room back up to 20. Historically, you've done it multiple times since March this year. And you still could argue there is hidden bullish divergence nearly confirmed on the daily. So it is looking pretty interesting. Maybe you could call this an alternate bat. Or no, it went down to a 6 and 8, so too deep there. It wouldn't be really anything textbook. But you just want to hold that support range. Next up, we got blue. 252 would be your next support if it continues to drop. You do have some classic bullish divergence on the daily. Second time in the stream, I've had to sneeze, and then I try to sneeze and I just can't. And I still kind of have to sneeze right now. I just can't. Alright, so blue 252 would be your next support. It used to be resistance in October and November of last year. Apart from that, it could be turning into a bullish bat. The 886 would be all the way down at around like 240-ish. So that would be lower as well. Maybe you could look at it as like a falling wedge. It's just kind of in a weird area. I would just like to see it hold above 252. Next up, we got Vibe Growth Corporation. Really hard to chart something with this many gaps on it. I mean, all I could really try and do here is just like, you're in a downsloping channel. That's really it. I don't even know how you could kind of see support resistance. I guess you might have a level right here at 53 cents. It used to be resistance in last fall. I'd like to see it get back above 53 cents. Apart from that, it's really hard to chart that. As for most OTCs. Oh, you want to look at, all right, the NASDAQ Neo? All right. So I'm really trying to see the best way to look at this chart. All right, so it looks like there was a supply line. It broke that on June 23rd. It pretty much spent like 3 weeks flipping that into a demand line, then it bounced. The daily MACD, there's not any bullish divergence, but it does look pretty decent. Moving closer to green. That's really it. You got support at $41. A little bit of resistance at 46.82, and then after that resistance at 52.24. So that's pretty much how I would look at this chart. Yeah. Keep hitting that like button. Let's get to 25 likes right now. You got it, YOLO, man. Alright, Strax is first. This is a crypto. I just see it as a range right now. It's kind of in the middle of the range. So from a purely technical standpoint, I could see it going either way. Your support is 125. Your resistance is around $2. If it breaks above 2, it could run back up to like 268 pretty easily. If it breaks below 125, then you got another support at $1, which is also psychological. So just like a multi-level chart, I don't really see much of a pattern here from a technical standpoint. So I can see it going either way, but it is actually finding support at the 200-day moving average. So I would like to see it hold that. INFI, it was up 61% today. Usually I would not look at tickers that are up this much just because I don't like chasing things, but it is pretty interesting. You know, this 190 level, it gapped up right back above it. That was resistance in 2019 and support in pretty much the end of last year. You had a kind of like an abandoned baby almost candle pattern. Crazy volume today on the gap up. There was probably earnings, I think, maybe yesterday or today. So, you know, it's up 60%, so it's kind of out of my rule book, but I think anything above 190 is still good if you have the 22% risk tolerance. Let me just see one more thing. It almost was a bullish shark too. I mean, this is a very weird way to draw a harmonic, but I don't know. I'm gonna go to the next one. AI might be trying to double bottom here off of this little support area. Not much divergence, but a lot of stocks are looking just like this, where they look at this. This is what a lot of mid-cap stocks are doing right now. They have these supply, kind of like dragon patterns, like all around. They have supply lines and then they're double bottoming off of them. So like dragonish patterns. We've already looked at a bunch of these types of setups tonight. Like another example of this would just be Wish, right? Same exact type of formation. As you can see here, trying to double bottom, and it pretty much broke the supply line on the second low. So many different mid-cap stocks look just like this, which is really interesting. I think that's a good thing. I don't know if there's any index that looks like that can kind of, let me check out the ARC. Not really. The Russell, no. It's pretty interesting though. A lot of stocks have this same type of setup. I've seen dozens today alone that just look like this. And I think the textbook way to play a supply line break with the double bottom would just be like a 50% retrace, which would be on this chart about $58. And that would also line up with your previous support from April and little 2-day top from July 9th and July 12th. So pretty interesting. Thank you. Whoa, we just got 30 likes. We only have 21 people in here and we got 30 likes. So thank you. That actually is pretty cool to see. Especially on the lower viewership nights. Getting 30 likes is awesome. Thank you. IDEX, slightly hidden bullish divergence. We were looking at this like last night as well. I just want to see this hold above 223. It's just in a very weird range right now. You know, I think whichever way it breaks this range will be telling, but for right now it's just within the range. Tesla, also looked at it last night. Nothing has changed. Still looks like Wyckoff accumulation to me. It's really hard right now because literally the whole entire stream I've had to sneeze and I can't sneeze right now. I don't know why. My body just won't let me. So it's like, it's just weird to talk when I'm trying to sneeze. Tesla still within this triangle pattern, right at the 200-day moving average. Still kind of looks like a Wyckoff schematic to me. Yeah, no change today. I just want to see this break to the upside, and then the composite operator can laugh at all of the people who doubted Tesla, or this miserably fails and breaks 550 and it heads back down to fill the gap at 400. Who knows? But I think a big start would be breaking out of this little triangle to the upside, but it's relatively a neutral pattern, so 50-50 on that. Lung is next. In terms of a harmonic, there's probably a lot of different ways you could look at it. Let me try this. I guess it's within the range of a bullish crab, and then you could consider this a potential double bottom at the PC. It's not really a textbook Fibonacci sequence though, so I don't know. It's also a really gappy chart, but I guess it's just in a range between 36 and 45, and it's kind of within the middle, so we'll see what it does. It already broke out of a supply line, and it's already starting to reverse in the short term, but the long term is still a pretty rough downtrend. Mara was up 4% today. From a technical standpoint, I don't know. I think it looked pretty decent down over here. It had a bullish hammer at the PCZ of a bullish shark. And with Bitcoin, it's been having a nice run up. Now Bitcoin's at resistance. So I think it just depends on Bitcoin, but also they have earnings on July 30th. So that matters more than any technicals. Disney is next up. I like that it's back above this 178 level. It was resistance in June. If it can hold above this level, your next resistance is 185. If it cannot hold this level, your next support is 171. That's really it. I mean, it already kind of broke out on the daily, even came down for a back test. So we'll see what it can do. Next up, we got AMGN. It looked really interesting down here. It was at a critical area, had classic bullish divergence on the MACD and RSI, or if you go by the candle closes, it did. And now it's kind of looking a little bit weird. If you look at it now, you actually have hidden bearish divergence. You made a lower high on price, but a higher high on your MACD as well as your RSI. So a little bit of hidden bearish divergence. I'd say it's right at the demand line right now. You just really want to hold on to this demand line. If you break it, then your 200-day moving average at 239 would probably be your next support. If you can bounce off this area, then I'd say your resistance would be around like 258. But this kind of could be looked at as just like a really long-term ascending triangle. Maybe something like that. Or you just look at it like this. I don't know. So these will be the final. How do we have 34 likes? That's crazy on 20 viewers. Really appreciate it. Basically everybody who's watching the stream has hit the like button, so thank you. Even though we don't have that many people in here tonight, cool to see that, all the support. Appreciate it. What's up, Skip T. Lou? All right, we'll do UWMC as well. That'll be the final ticker of the night. And yeah, so first off, Roblox, we've been looking at this one. Bounced up today. This was a failed trade. Maybe it was a little bit too tight of a stop loss. It was like a 4% loss, so it might have just been too tight of a stop. But now, on the 4-hour, you have triple classic bullish divergence on the MACD. Wow. Now you also have classic bullish divergence on the RSI on the 4-hour. You hit the PCZ and bounce at the PCZ of the bullish Gartley. You're back above 77, 62. Yeah, you know, I was talking about the same level last night, and I said I like it above this level. It just needs to get back above it. Well, it did that today. So even had a bullish pin bar yesterday. Still, from a technical standpoint, there's not a lot of data on the chart, but there is a pretty decent, like, for this amount of data, this is probably the most amount of, or the highest amount of variables you can have on a chart with only 4 months of data. So that's pretty impressive. If it breaks the supply line, I think it could run back up to 93. as your first resistance, and then after that previous all-time highs at around 100. You just got to hold above 77.62. That's the important level. ARK has been adding roadblocks. That's pretty interesting as well. ARK's been buying so much Coinbase. It's actually really interesting. Also, another interesting thing, do not quote me on this, I think I saw it somewhere. Again, social media is not a news source, but that's just where I spend a lot of my time looking at updates and stuff just on Twitter for stocks. I saw somewhere that apparently, I think Mark Zuckerberg has been selling shares of Facebook pretty aggressively for the past couple of months. And then today they beat on earnings, but they I think they lowered guidance, or they had a bad guidance, and that's why Facebook sold off after hours. So pretty interesting to see Zuckerberg selling for like a lot of shares, like every other day or something like that. Like, you could look it up. All this is public information. He's been selling, I think, don't quote me, I think he's been selling like a lot. And they lowered guidance. So pretty interesting to see that. I'm not saying that they did anything weird. I mean, it's all public info, so anybody could have seen before earnings that Zuckerberg was selling shares, but it still did drop. So that was just really interesting. Like, I kind of laughed when I saw that they lowered guidance, and I just remembered, oh, Zuckerberg has been selling, huh? But pretty funny there. That just randomly popped up in my head from earlier to today. EZGO, classic bullish divergence on the daily around all-time lows. I would just like to see this thing get a trend reversal. I mean, all it's done since this chart was created is make lower highs and lower lows. There was crazy volume yesterday or 2 days ago on Monday for whatever reason. I would just like to see it, show some strength. It probably did break out as well too. So, for all the data on the chart, that's pretty much all I could do there. And then VERB, very, very choppy chart. There is hidden bullish divergence on the 4-hour. Pretty much came down to the 618 golden retrace and is starting to consolidate there. I'd probably also just use Fibonacci for resistance as well, assuming that that is your low. You can't really confirm it until you cross the 23% retrace in terms of like a swing low, which you haven't yet, but you could just use Fibonacci for the upside as well, just because using horizontal support and resistance can get really confusing on a chart that is this, choppy and stuff on the daily. And then final ticker of the night, UWMC, confirmed hidden bullish divergence today, broke out of a downsloping channel. I like this above $7.20. I've been looking at this chart for some time now. 720, hold above that, and I like this chart. That's really it. Doesn't mean it's gonna go up for sure, but I think this is a pretty decent area, very low risk, potential high reward technical swing. Especially with the divergence. Is there anything on the 4-hour? There's classic bullish divergence on the 4-hour. I've charted already. So yeah, I mean, next resistance would be 864 on UWMC. I like it. It moves really, really slow. It's kind of just been bleeding out ever since the beginning of June. So I just want to see it hold above 720. Cup and handle on VERB, just to recheck that chart. I mean, your neckline would be this. Gonna be pretty hard to, eventually it could. I mean, it's been higher before, but usually you'd like to see a pretty straightforward cup and handle. This kind of scam wick kind of messes that up. If you want to ignore it, then yeah, sure, you could call it a cup and handle if you ignore that. And then all you'd just be watching is a breakout of this little handle slash falling wedge. But yeah, just this little whatever that was, I don't know if there was news or whatever it was on July 15th, kind of makes it a little bit not textbook, but if you ignore that, sure. And yeah, futures are currently down. NASDAQ futures are down 0.34% overnight, as you can see. And then S&P futures are down 0.23% overnight. So not looking too good for right now. We'll see how they do in the morning. And that's it for the stream. I am genuinely surprised that we have 37 likes on the stream. with 24 viewers. I don't even know if that is the right amount of viewers, right? Yeah. Thank you. Like literally everybody hit the like button. So I really appreciate that tonight. Definitely helps out the vibe since we have less people in the stream tonight. So yeah, good stream. Apart from it being a little bit quieter, everybody who was here definitely showed a lot of support. I appreciate that a lot. And yeah, I think I got most of the stuff in chat. Probably gonna call it here. I'll see everybody in the Discord. If you're not, how I don't know how this is happening. How do we have 40 likes with 17 people? That's crazy. So thank you to literally everybody who hit the like button. That doesn't really happen. Usually when we get 40 likes, we have like 60 people watching the stream. So that's really impressive to everybody. Thank you. Yeah, have a great night. Good luck trading tomorrow. Join the Discord. The link's in the description. If you're not in the Discord, you're missing out. If you want to miss out, that's cool. You do you. But if you don't want to miss out, join the Discord. And yeah, that'll be it for the night. Thank you for watching the stream. Subscribe if you didn't already. Yeah, they are dark full lights likes KTF for sure. And yeah, I'll be live again tomorrow night at 9 p.m. EST. See you then. That'll be the final stream of the week. Peace out.